I used to think love meant staying quiet and loyal, even when something felt wrong. I believed if I paid the bills, fixed the leaks, and showed up every night, that would be enough. Lena and I shared a small apartment with creaky floors and thin walls. I called it home because she did. Every chair, every lamp, every coat hook existed because I bought it or installed it. I never kept score. I trusted her. "Can we talk for a minute?" Lena asked one evening, standing by the kitchen counter. "Sure," I said. "What's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong," she replied quickly. "I just need a small favor." My chest tightened. "What kind of favor?" She slid a paper across the counter. "I want you to remove your name from the lease." I laughed, waiting for the joke. "Why would I do that?" "It's just paperwork," she said. "In case something happens. If one of us loses a job, it's easier." "That doesn't make sense," I said. "I pay most of the rent." "I know," she said softly. "That's why I trust you." I stared at the page. "If you trust me, why take my name off?" She reached for my hand. "Please. It's for safety." I hesitated. "This feels wrong." "Don't overthink it," she said. "It doesn't change anything between us." I wanted to believe her. "You promise?" "I promise," she said, smiling. I signed. The pen barely left the paper before her smile faded. She pulled the lease back without another word. I noticed she didn't thank me. That night, there was a knock at the door. Lena opened it and stepped aside. "Hey," she said. "You're here early." Mark walked in like he owned the place. "Long drive," he said. Tina followed, carrying a suitcase. I frowned. "What's going on?" Mark looked at Lena. "You didn't tell him?" "Tell me what?" I asked. Tina dropped the suitcase near the couch. "We're staying here for a bit." I laughed again, but no one joined. "You're joking." Mark crossed his arms. "We needed a place." Lena said it was fine. I looked at her. "You said nothing would change." She avoided my eyes. "It's temporary." "How temporary?" I asked. "As long as needed," Mark said. "That's not okay," I said. "This is my home." Mark smirked. "Not on paper." I felt heat rush to my face. "What does that mean?" Tina shrugged. "Lease only has Lena's name." I turned to Lena. "You said it didn't matter." She whispered, "I didn't think you'd react like this." "React like what?" I said. "Confused?" Mark stepped closer. "You should calm down." "Don't tell me to calm down," I said. Lena sighed. "Maybe it's better if you take some space." "Space?" I echoed. "From my own apartment?" "For a few days," she said. "Just until things settle." I looked around at the furniture I paid for. "So I'm supposed to leave?" Mark nodded. "That would help." I waited for Lena to say no. She didn't. Morning came too fast. I packed one bag. Lena stood in the doorway. "This doesn't have to be ugly," she said. "It already is," I replied. Mark leaned against the wall, watching. "Keys?" I placed them on the table. My hands were shaking. Lena whispered, "I'm sorry." I picked up my bag. "You should have told the truth." She didn't answer. I stepped outside. The door closed behind me. The lock clicked. I stood there, holding my bag, realizing love didn't erase me. It let her do it. I slept in my car with the seat pushed back and my jacket folded under my head. Every time I closed my eyes, Lena's voice replayed. It's just paperwork. It doesn't change anything. Take some space. I stared at the roof of the car and whispered, "You promised." My phone buzzed. Nothing from her. I laughed quietly. Of course. By morning, my neck hurt and my pride felt worse. I needed my tools. They were mine. I told myself I'd grab them and leave without a word. When I walked up to the apartment, Tina opened the door halfway and blocked it with her body. "What do you want?" she asked. "My tools," I said. "They're in the hall closet." She looked me up and down. "You don't live here anymore." "I'm not here to argue," I said. "Just my tools." She smiled like she won something. "You were a temporary guest." That word hit harder than I expected. "Guest?" I repeated. "I paid the rent." She shrugged. "Not officially." I felt something snap inside my chest. "Move." She didn't. "I'll hand them out." She passed me a box like I was a delivery guy. I checked it. Half my tools were missing. "Where's the rest?" I asked. She leaned on the doorframe. "Probably mixed up." "Happens." "Tell Lena I'm taking everything I paid for," I said. Tina laughed. "You can try." The door shut. I sat on the front steps with the box beside me. My hands were shaking again. I told myself it was anger, but it felt more like shame. A voice behind me said, "You all right, son?" I looked up at an old man with thin gray hair and a worn coat. "I'm fine," I said. He nodded slowly. "You're one of the tenants, right? Third floor?" I hesitated. I was. He sighed. "Figures. Nobody's been paying on time." "What do you mean?" I asked. He sat beside me. "This place is bleeding money. Repairs, taxes. I'm too old for this mess." "Lena pays," I said. "Mostly." He frowned. "Haven't seen a check from her in months." My stomach dropped. "What about before that?" He shook his head. "Always late. Always short." I stared at the door. I covered the rest. He looked at me carefully. "That explains a lot." "So they're behind?" I asked. "Way behind," he said. "I'm thinking of selling." I swallowed. "You ever regret trusting people?" He chuckled. "Every day." That night, I drove until the city lights blurred. I parked under a street lamp and stared at my reflection in the window. "Don't beg," I told myself. I opened my phone and deleted Lena's number. My finger hovered, then pressed. "I won't chase," I said out loud. "I won't crawl." The car felt cold, but my mind was clear for the first time. "I'll rebuild," I whispered. "Even if it takes years." I started the engine and drove forward, not knowing where I'd end up, only knowing I wasn't going back. I slept on Daniel's couch for 3 weeks and pretended it was temporary. My body shrank. My face looked older. I worked double shifts and came home too tired to think. Daniel watched me one night and said, "You're disappearing." "I'm fine," I said. "You always say that," he replied. "I just need time." He leaned back. "I warned you about Lena." I rubbed my eyes. Don't. You ignored me, he said. But you're still you. I don't feel like it, I said. He tossed me a beer. Drink. Tomorrow, work with me. Doing what? I asked. Real work, he said. Not begging. I nodded. Days blurred together. We worked construction sites and cleanup jobs. Daniel paid me fair and never asked questions. One night, I checked my phone and froze. Lena's name flashed on the screen. I didn't answer. Her voicemail played anyway. God, it was so easy, she laughed. He just signed. I sat on the couch, listening. My hands stopped shaking. Daniel looked at me. Her? Yeah, I said. What did she say? I swallowed. That replacing me was easy. He waited. I think something died, I said. Good, he replied. Dead weight. I stared at the floor. I let them erase me. You handed them a pen, he said. But you're holding the next one. That night, I opened a notebook. I wrote numbers. Income. Expenses. Savings. I stopped eating out. I stopped wasting gas. Every dollar mattered. What are you doing? Daniel asked. Learning, I said. I borrowed books. Contracts. Property law. Basic investing. The words were heavy, but I forced myself through them. At night, Daniel would ask, why punish yourself? I'm not, I said. I'm waking up. Weeks passed. My anger cooled into something sharp and quiet. I stopped asking why she did it. I started asking how people protect themselves. One afternoon, Daniel said, you look different. How? I asked. Focused, he said. Like you remember who you were. I'm not that guy anymore, I said. No, he replied. You're better. I nodded. I believed him. Another week passed. I sold old clothes. I sold my watch. I kept the notebook. Daniel asked, you sure about this? I am, I said. You're quiet lately. I'm listening, I replied. One night at work, a guy complained about rent. I asked questions. He laughed. I didn't. I wrote notes. At home, I searched laws and limits. I learned what signatures do. I learned what silence costs. Daniel watched me study. You planning something? I'm planning survival, I said. That sounds lonely. It is, I said. But it's clean. I dreamed less. When Lena crossed my mind, I shut it down. I wasn't angry anymore. I was careful. Careful felt stronger. I looked at my reflection and said, never again. No anger. No begging. Just work. Just patience. Rock bottom didn't scare me anymore. I realized there was space below it, and I could build there. Daniel nodded when I told him. Then don't waste it. I won't, I said. Good, he replied. Because I didn't pull you up for nothing. You didn't pull me, I said. I climbed. He smiled. That's the guy I remember. I closed the notebook and held it tight. He's not coming back, I said. Someone else is. That night, I set an alarm and went to sleep without dreaming. For the first time since the lease, I felt steady. Not happy. Not whole. Just steady. And that was enough to keep going. Daniel called from the other room. You ready for tomorrow? Yeah, I said. I am. Then sleep, he replied. I closed my eyes, knowing the man who trusted too easily was finally gone. Rock bottom wasn't the end. It was the floor I needed to stand on before rising. And this time, I would read every line before signing anything again. Even my own heart. From now. 2 years passed without anyone noticing. I cut my hair shorter. I stopped drinking. My body hardened from work, and my voice stopped shaking when I spoke. I didn't talk about Lena anymore. I didn't talk about the apartment. Daniel noticed first. You don't look broken, he said one night. I'm not, I replied. I'm busy. He nodded. I know someone you should meet. Her name was Miss Carter. She didn't smile when Daniel introduced us. So you're the guy who got played, she said. I guess, I replied. She leaned back. Guessing is how you lost everything. I clenched my jaw. I'm here to learn. She laughed once. Good. Because you don't know anything. She taught me discipline by embarrassing me. She made me explain numbers out loud. She stopped me mid-sentence and said, wrong. She asked questions I couldn't answer. You don't buy property with feelings, she said. You buy it with patience. I failed my first flip. Badly. I stared at the numbers and said, I messed up. Ms. Carter nodded. Good. That's it? I asked. You lived, she said. Now fix it. I wanted to quit. I wanted to scream. Instead, I went back to work. At night, I opened my wallet and touched the folded lease. I never unfolded it. I didn't need to read it again. I remembered how it felt signing my name away. Ms. Carter noticed. What's that? A reminder, I said. Keep it, she replied. Just don't worship it. Months passed. Then more. I flipped smaller places. I listened more than I spoke. Ms. Carter stopped correcting me as much. That scared me. You're quiet, she said. I'm focused, I replied. That's worse than angry, she said. Anger burns fast. Focus lasts. Daniel asked me once, you happy? No, I said. But I'm steady. He smiled. That's new. I looked in the mirror one morning and didn't recognize the man staring back. He didn't look sad. He didn't look proud. He looked prepared. Ms. Carter called and said, you're ready for the next step. For what? I asked. For control, she replied. I closed my wallet and slipped it into my pocket. The lease pressed against my leg, light but present. I won't forget, I whispered. Ms. Carter heard me. Good, she said. Just don't look back. I wasn't angry anymore. That scared me more than rage ever did. Anger had rules. Focus didn't. And for the first time, I understood that rebirth doesn't come with noise. It happens quietly, while everyone else thinks you disappeared. The call came on a Tuesday afternoon while I was reviewing numbers at a cafe. I almost didn't answer. Hello? I said. Is this the young man who used to live on Pine Street? Mr. Hargreave asked. Yes, I said slowly. Why? He sighed. I'm in trouble. I leaned back. What kind of trouble? The building, he said. It's sinking. I stayed quiet. No rent for months, he continued. Repairs I can't afford. Taxes breathing down my neck. I thought of Lena's laugh. He just signed. You said you were thinking of selling, I said. I am, he replied. I just didn't think I'd be calling you. Why me? I asked. You cared, he said. And you paid. I swallowed. How much? He named a number. My pulse stayed steady. I'll need to see the books, I said. Of course, he replied. Please. That night, I reviewed everything. Late payments. Missing payments. Lena's name circled in red. My jaw tightened, then relaxed. Daniel watched me. You okay? They never paid, I said. He shook his head. I know. I can do this, I said. Then do it quietly, he replied. I called Ms. Carter. Bad idea, she said immediately. Explain, I said. Too emotional, she replied. I'm not angry, I said. That's worse, she said. But proceed carefully. I created an LLC. No name. No history. Just numbers. The meeting was small. Mr. Hargreaves sat across from me, hands shaking. You're sure? He asked. Yes, I said. You know who lives there, he said. I know, I replied. He slid the papers forward. I never wanted it to end like this. Neither did I said. I signed without hesitation. He looked relieved and sad at the same time. It's yours. I stood. Thank you. That was it. No speech. No reveal. I sat in my car afterward and stared at the building. My hands started shaking. I whispered, not joy. I remembered standing outside with one bag. I remembered the lock clicking. Power didn't feel loud. It felt heavy. Like holding something fragile and dangerous. My phone buzzed. A message from Lena sat unread. I didn't open it. I started the engine and drove away. Silence felt right. The notices went out on a Friday morning. No names. No emotion. Just dates and clauses. I watched the reports load on my screen like weather updates. Daniel leaned over my shoulder. You sure? Yes, I said. They're going to freak out. They already are, I replied. The recordings came first. Mark's voice filled the room. This is bull. We've lived here for years. The manager answered calmly, You're 6 months behind. Tina shouted, We'll sue. The manager replied, You can try. I muted it. Daniel asked, How do you feel? Nothing, I said. And that scares me. The next call came an hour later. I didn't recognize the number, but I knew the voice. Hey, Lena said softly. I stayed quiet. It's me, she added. Please don't hang up. I'm listening, I said. Her breath caught. What's happening? You got a notice, I replied. We did, she said. This has to be a mistake. It isn't, I said. She paused. Do you know something? I know the lease, I said. Her voice dropped. Mark's yelling. Tina's crying. That's unfortunate, I replied. Can we talk? She asked. I waited. About what? About us, she said. There is no us, I replied. She whispered, I wouldn't be calling if I wasn't scared. I closed my eyes. Fear didn't stop you before. Silence stretched. I didn't think it would go this far, she said. It went far when you locked the door, I replied. She cried softly. Please. I exhaled. We can talk. Her breath hitched. Really? Yes, I said. On my terms. Anything, she said quickly. Tomorrow, I said. Public place. Okay, she whispered. And Lena? Yes? I'm not fixing this, I said. She didn't respond. The call ended. Daniel looked at me. You sure you want to see her? I'm sure I don't want to run, I said. Another report loaded. Tina pacing. Mark slamming a door. Daniel asked, You enjoying this? No, I said. I'm finishing it. That night, I sat in my car outside the cafe we agreed on. My hands were steady. I said out loud, This isn't revenge. I checked my wallet. The lease was still there. This is closure, I added. I stepped out of the car and walked toward the light, knowing the power wasn't in what I'd say tomorrow, but in what I wouldn't. The cafe was almost empty when I walked in. Lena was already there, sitting stiff, hands wrapped around a cold cup. She looked smaller than I remembered. Not weaker. Just cornered. You came, she said. I said I would, I replied, taking the chair across from her. She swallowed. You look different. I am, I said. She nodded too fast. I'm glad. I stayed quiet. I didn't know how to start, she said. So I'll just say it. I'm sorry. For what? I asked. Her eyes dropped. For how things ended. That's vague, I said. She sighed. I was scared. Of what? I asked. Of being stuck, she said. Of disappointing my family. So you erased me, I said. She flinched. I didn't mean it like that. But that's what you did, I replied. She rubbed her forehead. Mark pressured me. Tina kept saying you'd leave anyway. I was already there, I said. Every night. I know, she whispered. But it felt unstable. So you chose stable lies over honest risk, I said. She looked up. I chose survival. So did I replied. She leaned forward. You didn't have to disappear. I didn't disappear, I said. I was pushed. Her eyes filled. I didn't think you'd actually go. That's the problem, I said. You thought I'd shrink. She shook her head. I never wanted to hurt you. Intent doesn't erase damage, I said. She reached across the table, then stopped. Do you hate me? I answered honestly. No. She blinked. Then what? I don't trust you, I said. Her shoulders dropped. That hurts. It's lighter than what you did, I replied. She nodded slowly. Things are bad. I know, I said. Mark's angry, she said. Tina's blaming everyone. And you? I asked. She hesitated. I'm scared. I looked at her hands shaking. Fear didn't save me. She whispered, Can you help? I didn't answer. She leaned closer. Please. I stared at the table. The silence stretched. Her breathing got shallow. Say something, she begged. I stayed quiet. She pressed her lips together. If you won't help them, help me. I met her eyes. You already asked for help once. She nodded. And you gave it. And you used it to lock me out, I said. Her voice cracked. I know. Silence again. She wiped her cheeks. Do you even care what happens to us? I care, I said. I just won't interfere. Her mouth opened, then closed. I didn't come to punish you, I added. I came to tell you the truth. What truth? She asked. That being erased doesn't make you invisible, I said. It makes you careful. She whispered, I wish I could take it back. So do I replied. She sat back, defeated. Is this goodbye? It's closure, I said. She nodded, eyes empty now. I don't recognize you. You never did, I replied. I stood up. Wait, she said. I paused. I really am sorry, she said. I believed her. That didn't change anything. I walked out without another word. Behind me, I heard her sob once, sharp and sudden. I didn't turn around. Outside, the air felt clean. My chest felt lighter. I didn't win. I didn't lose. I let go. I arrived early. The building looked the same, but it didn't feel the same. It felt lighter, like it finally belonged to someone who understood it. Mark was the first to see me. What the hell is he doing here? He shouted. I stopped near the entrance. I was invited. You don't live here, he snapped. I know, I said calmly. Tina stepped out behind him, eyes already red. This is harassment. It's paperwork, I replied. Lena came last. When she saw me, she froze. You, she whispered. Me, I said. Mark moved closer. Did you do this? I looked at him. Do what? These eviction notices, he said, waving the paper. You know something. I know the lease, I replied. Tina cried, we can't be kicked out like this. You can, I said. And you are. Mark laughed, sharp and loud. You think you have power now? I took a breath. I don't think. A man from management stepped forward. Sir, we're ready. Mark spun toward him. Who authorized this? I did, I said. Silence dropped. Lena's eyes widened. What? I own the building, I said. Mark exploded. That's impossible. It isn't, I replied. Tina shook her head. You're lying. I'm enforcing the lease, I said. The same one you used. Lena stepped forward. You bought it? Yes, I said. Her voice broke. When? After you erased me, I replied. Mark pointed at me. You planned this. No, I said. I survived it. Tina sobbed louder. You're ruining us. I shook my head. You did that. Lena whispered, you didn't have to do this. I didn't, I said. I chose to. Mark clenched his fists. Say it. Say you enjoyed this. I met his eyes. I didn't. That confused him more than anger would have. The manager cleared his throat. You have 30 days. Tina collapsed onto the steps. Lena stared at the door like it might open and save her. Mark hissed, you think you're better than us? No, I said. I'm free. Lena looked at me. Is this revenge? I answered honestly. No. Then what is it? She asked. Closure, I replied. She covered her mouth. You changed. I had to, I said. The manager handed them the final notice. No yelling. No insults. Just paper. Mark muttered, you were nothing without us. I paused. I was something before you. I turned away. Behind me, Tina cried. Mark cursed. Lena said my name once, soft. I didn't stop. The lock clicked behind them this time, not me. Outside, I stood still for a moment. My hands didn't shake. Karma didn't roar. It whispered. And for the first time, I understood that freedom isn't loud either. I unlocked the door and stepped inside alone. The apartment was quiet, too quiet, like it was holding its breath. Still smells the same, I said to no one. I walked slowly, touching nothing at first. The couch was gone. The photos were gone. Only the walls remained. I used to think this place was my proof, I murmured. Proof I mattered. My voice echoed back thin and honest. I stood in the kitchen and laughed once. I begged here, I said. I promised here. I remembered my old voice, shaky and hopeful. I didn't miss him. You tried your best, I told that version of me. You just trusted the wrong people. I opened the bedroom door. The floor creaked like it remembered me. I slept on the floor once, I said. Because you took the bed. No anger came. That surprised me. I sat on the windowsill and looked out. I thought winning meant watching you fall. The room stayed quiet. But it didn't, I continued. It meant not caring if you stood up again. I pulled the lease from my wallet and finally unfolded it. The paper was worn soft. I carried you like a wound, I said. Now you're just paper. I tore it once, slow and clean. I forgive you, I whispered, not to them, but to myself. My phone buzzed. A message from Lena waited. I didn't open it. Some apologies arrived too late, I said. I left the apartment and locked the door behind me. The sound didn't hurt anymore. Downstairs, Daniel waited. You done? He asked. Yeah, I said. He studied my face. You okay? I'm clear, I replied. We walked to the office. The new lease sat on the desk, blank and waiting. This one's yours, Daniel said. I know, I replied. I picked up the pen and paused. Funny thing, I said. I'm not scared anymore. Daniel smiled. Good. I signed my name once. No shaking. No doubt. That's it, he asked. That's everything, I said. I folded the lease and placed it in my pocket, lighter than the last one ever was. Outside, the building stood quiet behind me. I didn't win. I let go. And for the first time, that felt like ownership. I paused outside longer, listening to the city breathe around me. Cars passed. Someone laughed. Life kept moving. You're really done, Daniel said quietly. I am, I answered. Not tired. Not angry. Just done. He nodded. What about them? I hope they learn, I said. But I don't need to watch. Daniel asked, do you forgive her? I already did, I replied. Forgiveness doesn't require permission. He exhaled. That's growth. I looked up at the building. This place broke me once. And now, he asked. Now it taught me, I said. We stood there in silence. You staying? Daniel asked. Yes, I said. For me. He smiled. Then welcome home. I unlocked the door again and stepped inside, not as a memory, not as a ghost, but as the owner of my choices. I said softly, this time, I choose myself. The words didn't echo. They settled. I turned off the lights, closed the door, and felt nothing pulling me backward. Only forward. I stood still one last time, breathing slowly, letting the past loosen its grip. There was no applause, no justice speech, no crowd watching. Just a quiet decision made real. I walked forward without looking back, carrying nothing except what I earned. Tomorrow would bring work, problems, and ordinary days. That was fine. Ordinary meant safe. Ordinary meant mine. I didn't need revenge to feel whole. I needed space to grow, and I finally had it. I smiled once, quietly, and kept walking, knowing the man I became would never sign away himself again. That truth stayed with me, steady and certain, as the door closed behind me. For the last time.